it's harder for me to honor my word than it is to keep my word. The piece that gets things done are the commitments you're making.
Being on stage or seeing people who've been on the other side, it seems like, oh well, they had all these things to be able to get it to that point. But I think actually the hardest thing, and I learned this doing Ironman for 5 years, is that it's nothing to do with the race. It is nothing to do with a great clear day on a sunny, breezy, whatever, having a great time. The toughest part is when you're sick, you're exhausted, you don't have sleep. I've got 5 kids, I've got excuses, maybe I'm stressed out, I've got all these responsibilities. Everything is saying, hey, hey, or can I just get a little break? Can I just give me a week where I don't have to work out or don't have to think about this or de-stress and stuff like that. Now, being intentional about that is very different than, collapsing under the weight of yourself or feeling that way. Um, you talk about integrity. And one of the things you talked about very early on isn't about perfection and integrity. It's showing up to when integrity is broken and how you're able to go through that. And in my perspective, greatness of anybody has nothing to do with the achievement. It's how did you get through the shit when everything was against you and you have almost seemingly nothing that's going to get you to the other side. And I sometimes break that integrity of commitment or whatever it is. Can you walk everybody through? Because I think that's probably the most important, at least for me, the most important of any of these journeys is being able to go through that process to get to the other side, which, kind of like likening it to Rory being so far down. How do you process that and how do you go through the other side as you're dealing with that level?
Yeah, and that's the piece that gets things done are the commitments you're making. And that's where uh leveraging your integrity, like leveraging your word, like are you actually up for going after this new crazy,
Yeah.
thrilling vision? Well, we're going to find out. And we're going to find out based on the commitments that you're making, weekly, monthly. Are you doing what you say you're going to do? The m- it's not my favorite part of the game, admittedly, but a fun part of that integrity piece is so often I think we relate to integrity is hey, do I do what I say I'm going to do? Which is definitely part of it. Um, but like, what about when I don't? Has anyone in here ever broke a commitment to anyone? All hands up, right? And yet, I'm sure you guys all work together and still probably trust each other. That's probably just an assumption, like, hey, we still trust each other. And for me, I'm just going to speak for myself. I may be alone on this, but what builds trust with me is when somebody honors their word. And honoring your word is when I know I'm going to break a commitment, when I know I'm going to be out of integrity, or maybe when I already was out of integrity, I already broke my commitment, and I'm willing to like stand in that fire and clean up the mess I made with you, clean it up, renegotiate a commitment, all those different pieces. So that's where I think integrity becomes a little bit more like malleable and a little bit more practical, and for me stronger. Uh, I uh, outing myself. It's harder for me to honor my word than it is to keep my word. Right? Like like I said, I think my brain's just wired. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and yet I still sometimes don't. And to like go to that person and be like, oh, I messed up. How can I clean up this mess? Like that's actually harder for me. So, um, but also as I've trained that, it becomes such a superpower to actually build more trust.
Yeah.
When I know I'm going to compromise my integrity to actually get ahead of it and renegotiate or whatever it might be, I think that that's where trust becomes a superpower in teams where um, it becomes more of a like a ongoing conversation and dialogue than just a hey, you broke your word to me. Now I don't trust you anymore, period. And in our relationship and our coaching, that's why we leverage your integrity. Like, we can have these great transformational conversations, but then if there's no action on the end of it, it just kind of goes into the ether. It's like, well, that was great. Talk again in a week. Nothing happened. Nothing got done. But based off that conversation, now, like, what would you be willing to commit to over the next week?
Yeah.
And inevitably, when something doesn't happen, then we get to get curious about it. What was more important? How full of, uh, you know, what are you actually? That's where it becomes this ongoing process of even strengthening our integrity and, like, our occurrence of integrity.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate everybody in the world who's been able to attend. And I feel like we've had so many conversations with so many different people, but like this dimension, I feel it's practical for every single person here, right? It's we all are trying to be better and we're all trying to grow, but we all make mistakes and we all fall. And it's being able to have coaches, guides, mentors, people around you that I feel like that can see you in your weakest and most vulnerable, that allow you to be able to start trusting in yourself that you can keep moving forward. Because, like, I mean, it's pretty easy here to have big, hairy, audacious goals, right? I mean, like deploying 50 million last year, and next year's target is 100 and who knows what, doubling every 18 months. And we just write it on the wall. And we're like, I think we can do this, but we don't know how. And I love that the team rallies around just even like, well, we just do it. We don't know how we're going to do it. We haven't figured it out. We actually, other than like writing some numbers and having a vision of where we're going to go, we just have to trust that each one of us is going to put everything that we can to the table to try to create it. And it's really not my vision. It's our vision. Like, I don't come up with these numbers. Like more and more AI is coming up with this shit. So it's us being, do we believe in it? Do we all have an agreement to it? Do we want to keep that integrity? Do we want to show up? And then whenever we fall down, do we have our teammates around us to pick us back up and say that's okay and we're going to figure it out and keep moving from there? So huge round of applause for Blake. Really appreciate it.